Hello, everybody, and welcome back finally to the Four Quarter Talk podcast with myself, Jack Brazil, and my co-host, Josh Mizoke. Say what's up, bro?
What's good? It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
We had a little 2-week break. Not even a break. Life got in the way. Josh was moving back into uni, getting everything sorted, and I'm currently in that process as well. So, our schedules have been kind of conflicting, but we finally found a good time to get on the podcast and talk about basketball. And a lot has happened since we've been away. In today's show, we will be revisiting our brackets. Obviously, now we're into the semi-finals. So we'll have our full rundown of our first round brackets. And obviously, we'll talk about the East and West semi-finals so far. Going to discuss Giannis, as obviously his Milwaukee Bucks team went crashing out of the playoffs. And we're going to end, as always, with trivia. So let's get right into today's show. Right, so we're going to start the show with our brackets. And a lot of things have gone our way, really. Josh, you were constantly updating me saying, I got this right. How has your bracket fared for the first round?
So there are a couple series where, I'm pretty sure our brackets both survived the first round.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't too competitive of a first round. In fact, there were some series where, like the Blazers, where we thought it'd be a bit more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, the only things we've really got wrong are thinking that some series would go a bit further than we expected.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had the two hotter takes in our last episode that came this round with me saying that the Rockets would upset the first seed, the Lakers, and the Heat would upset the first seed of Bucks, which, if you go back to it, I left a timestamp in the comments.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You got one of those things, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. Hey, it's not over till it's over.
Off the back of yesterday's game.
Okay.
It looks over.
Yeah. I wish I was a bit more confident.
Yeah.
Because I was confident that they would definitely win. That the Heat would win. I just thought I wanted the Giannis to make it work, and I wanted the same rhythm to not represent itself.
Yeah.
But I just saw that. I said it in that pod. The two outlying issues that the Bucks had were a predictable offense paired with a star that is limited. Giannis he's about to be a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, but he is a limited player.
Yeah, for sure.
In certain aspects, and those aspects are they're even more easily exploited in the playoff setting. Mm-hmm. And then you have a coach that in Budenholzer who is under a lot of fire now, because he's consistently been able to have regular season success with the Hawks, with the Bucks now in back-to-back seasons, but he doesn't seem to be able to make any adjustments in the playoffs, and that was something that I was worried about, and why I didn't have much
faith.
I didn't have a lot of faith in the format and the way that the Bucks were winning during the regular season. And to be honest, I feel like he could get another 60-win season next year, but I just think they have issues that present themselves in the playoffs. And another thing that we were both worried about was that they don't seem to have a clutch time dependable scorer, and in the regular season they were blowing a lot of teams out, so they weren't able to really address that issue.
Yeah, and those issues really came to the forefront at the start of the bubble. They were bad coming into the playoffs because a lot of teams were playing more high intensity basketball, more competitive basketball, and those issues where they didn't have the clutch time scorer really presented themselves, and it was a warning sign that we all saw. And Mike Budenholzer must have seen it, but there was no solution to that problem. And as a result, they go crashing out in 5 games, where a lot of people predicted them to go to the finals. Really.
Yeah, whilst I did predict the Heat would win, I didn't think it would be as convincing as it was. I really did think that. Obviously, Giannis's injury had something to do with it, but I feel like they're already trending that way.
There's no way we could have preempted that Giannis would miss 2 games. But even when Giannis was on the court, Miami looked by far the better team. because
it looked like the Bucks were the ones trying to get the upset.
Yeah,
like they were the underdogs.
It's because Miami's defensive formula for the Bucks just worked to perfection. Just crowd the paint, crowd the inside, and make them create their own offense on the perimeter. And they don't really have anyone that I can think of on their roster, like a wing or a guard that can put the ball on the floor and create their own offense. So it worked to perfection, and as a result, Giannis is going back home.
They definitely have a lot
future.
They have a lot to address, but we'll address that later.
Yeah, we'll get more into that later. I think I said Heat in 7 for that series.
I think we both did.
And it was actually Heat in 5. I think a lot of people, even if they did predict a Heat upset, would not have got Heat in 5.
At the same time, that is probably. I mean, I know I'm taking a lot of credit for that prediction, but I think that's probably the most least surprising upset, first seed upset. I think,
on paper, it's surprising, but when you start breaking down each matchup and each team, then it's not really. Because I remember when we were doing it last episode, I originally had the Bucks, but then once I listened to your logic, you swayed me. When you do start looking at it deeper, it's kind of a no-brainer. But
regular season matchups, game wins, they matter. But at the end of the day, once you get to the playoffs, at this stage, the further you get through, every team is elite. So, and then matchups come into play, and like as they say in boxing, matchups make fights. So, it's one of the things where they were the worst possible matchup for them.
Yeah. Let's go to the other East semi-final quickly. Boston-Toronto. This series is still in motion. They have a Game 7 tonight. And after going down 2-0, the Raptors looked in a very similar position to the Milwaukee Bucks, but they have OG Anunoby to thank for still being in the series. I mean, in Game 3, he hit that ridiculous shot with 0.5 on the clock, where Boston for some reason played a zone on the final shot. And just forgot about Anunoby in the
confusing. I mean, to me, like in that play, firstly playing zone when they need a 3. Yeah, that was confusing. But then also, like, why even defend the inbounder? Like, just be up on everyone.
Yeah,
but, exactly. That was a costly mistake.
And then similarly in the game the other day, Game 6, OG hit another massive 3 to put the Raptors up by 4, and they close out the game. So it's good to see the London boy putting on for the UK. And he's been great in this series ever since. The Raptors have really shown their championship pedigree in the series. With an ordinary team, going 2-0 down is usually fatal. Heads start to drop, spirits start to go down in the camp. But the Raptors galvanize themselves and use the energy of that OG Anunoby shot in the third game to really recoup the series. And for me, Kyle Lowry has been fantastic.
He's definitely got everyone's respect.
Yeah, because there used to be the joke, didn't there, where similar to like Harden and Paul George, where Kyle Lowry does nothing in the playoffs, but he's turned that narrative on his head.
Yeah, he had that 1-point game. 0-point game. Last year, I think.
Yeah, no, I think it was 2 years ago.
He's revived. It was when DeRozan was still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's definitely
just a dog. He's just a dog.
Puts
his body on the line for his team. Not scared to take responsibility with big shots. There's not many players in the NBA built like him, and it's refreshing to see it. But speaking of this Boston team, I think I know where you're laughing. That's not what I meant.
I said pause, bro.
That's not what I meant. Fuck's sake. Not built like that. You know what I mean. Built mentally. I mean, he does have a nice arse, but no, I'm joking. Pause. But anyway, speaking of Boston, do you think they should have closed this series out by now?
I mean, what they they're 0.5 seconds away from
having a 3-0
from
lead
have already, and then obviously
pretty much impossible to
a lot of a double overtime game. So I know it's
they'll be kicking themselves.
They'll definitely be kicking themselves.
And we said in last episode, can Jason Tatum become that guy for them where in late game situations he has the ball in his hand, and in that overtime game he looked
he was horrible.
He kind of shied away from it in many regards, and when he did have the ball in his hands, he threw it out of bounds that one play.
I saw him airball about 4 shots.
Yeah,
in the fourth quarter
and let's not get started on Kemba Walker because that guy, 5 points in 50 minutes.
I mean, Kemba Walker was my friend. I laugh because my friend was saying that Kemba Walker was looking like Julian Newman out there. it wasn't pretty. He's having a lot of trouble with his aggressiveness as well because he's had several games where he's shot less than 15 shots. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he brought it up in one of the games that it wasn't acceptable the amount of shots he was taking. He needs to find his way to affect the offense more. But the Raptors are really just showing that they are champions and they're really defending their throne right now. A lot of people wrote them off saying, Kawhi's leaving, they're just gonna fall off the face of the map. But no, they're fighting. They are champions.
I still do worry
they deserve that respect.
I still have that worry in the back of my head. That who's taking the last shot?
It will soon present itself. Yeah, it will definitely soon present itself. Because they're doing it by committee right now.
At the end of the fourth quarter, went into Norman Powell's hands, which was very confusing. I know he'd hit a few free throws, and I think 3 before, so I guess they were trying to ride the hot hand. But if Norman Powell's a guy you have taken big shots in an elimination game, that's a worry.
They don't have any consistency with that. You need that in the playoffs.
But with the Celtics, I want to give a shout out to Marcus Smart. I think in the playoffs, he's been one of the stand-up performers.
That's another
a role player a role player really standing up and being counted, and his team can rely on him in the big moments when Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown aren't firing. You saw in the game the other night in Game 6 when Jason Tatum wasn't firing, Marcus Smart was hitting threes and getting steals on the defensive end, and in Game 5 when Jaylen Brown was having an off night, it was a similar scenario. So he's probably been their most consistent performer. And Daniel Tice as well, he's surprised me. He's putting up some decent contributions for a player no one really expects much of. So the Celtics role players are definitely standing up.
Yeah, going back to Marcus Smart, he deserves a lot of credit for addressing his weaknesses. A few years ago, you could just leave him open from 3, and now he's become one of the best a very dependable 3-point shooter.
For sure.
And it's really taken his game to another level because you can always count on his tenacity and his defensive ability and his flopping to impact the game. But he's quickly become one of the best role players, and he's a big contributor to the team.
I will say for the Celtics, though, I think they're missing the presence of Gordon Hayward a lot because their starters are having to play crazy minutes.
Mm-hmm. But if you can make it, through this last game, if they can make it through this last game, I think they get Hayward back for next series.
That would be a massive boost for them.
Massive boost.
Let's go to the West, where we find both LA teams up 3-1. The Lakers up 3-1 on the Rockets and the Clippers up 3-1 on the Nuggets. They obviously had that game last night, the Lakers and the Rockets, and playoff James Harden is back in the building.
He's back. Okay, so. When I made my prediction, I did.
Oh, yeah.
Both my predictions with Houston and with the Clippers, I did. Obviously, you can't really add that qualifier, but I did say I have my worries about both teams because of the ability to rely on Harden and Paul George in those situations.
Even Westbrook has been trash.
I mean, he had one trash game, and then since then he's been all right. But that game was horrifically bad. Like horrifically bad. He's finally found his rhythm. Since coming, I personally don't believe they should have brought him back during the OKC series. They should let him get some more rest. But obviously, it's hard to get rhythm in the middle of a playoff series, and they were going to need him. So, he stepped up since then. Obviously, the way Westbrook plays, at his best, that's great. But you need him at his best for their system to work, and then at his worst, that's a nightmare. But with Harden, Harden's perplexing to me.
If you've got a guy who's taking 28 shots and making under 20%, then you just go home, fam.
But
no, he did. He made under 20% last night. He shot under 20%. Last night. Yeah.
Last night he was 8 for 16.
Was he? I saw a stat where it was like he shot under.
Bro, I'm looking at this right now.
8 times in his career or something.
Last night, Harden
was 2 for 11.
Oh, are you talking about Harden?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what?
Oh, no, I'm talking about Harden.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, so, I was just getting onto that. So, with Westbrook, as bad as he can be, the one thing I know about him is that he's never going to disengage. And you need that in those type of games. Like last night, they were down quite big, and he willed them back. Obviously, they didn't pull out the win. With Harden, he's a different story. This is why I don't have confidence in Harden, and he's shown it too many times. That he just disengages and,
for sure.
Dare I say, quits. Because, okay, you can shoot bad. I mean, Westbrook can have a game where he's going to, 4 for 20, whatever. But he is taking 20 shots and he's still going at you. Harden is a player that on a regular night will probably shoot 25 times. But then in these big games, he'll have games where he shoots like 10 times. I think I remember against the Spurs. So there was a game 6 where Manu Ginobili blocked him from behind.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
For them to seal. And it forced a game 7. And then in that game 7, of which Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard were both out for that game. So a game 7, I can't remember if it was home or away, but it doesn't matter. You're basically, this is your game to win. And he goes out there and he has, I think, the same stat line, 2 for 11. And he just disengages. You don't get the same aggression for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a mental block there. Because even going all the way back to when he was with OKC, in the 2012 finals, he just disengaged. Like, he just doesn't seem to like wake up in those moments. And then even game 7 against OKC, last series, he was quite terrible offensively. So it just seems these big games. I mean, last game was the difference between being 2-2 and 3-1. You need to be there. If he's going to be one of those players that's in the conversations for, top 5 shooting guards of all time, one of the best scorers offensively.
These are the moments where that's going to count.
These are the moments
when that argument's going to be put in his favor or not. And
when is there ever going to be another season where there's this much opportunity for any team to really seize the moment?
Mm-hmm. But do you think with the Rockets, do you think it could be a chemistry issue? I mean, they've had major changes recently with the drastic change of their system. They've had to reintegrate Westbrook back in.
They've gotten unlucky. I can't lie. Obviously, the Daniel House progression, that new thing, that was weird. But I can't give them that excuse because it's one thing. Obviously, Westbrook, he struggled a bit for a few games, to get rhythm, but that does not excuse you change. See, when people throw around the word choking, they'll be like, "Oh, this guy shot bad in an important game. That's choking."
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to just call everything choking. You know what I mean? But I feel like when a player is just playing out of character, and you can see that they're tight, you can see that they're, there's just times where in these type of games, Harden just looks like he doesn't want to be there, and he just looks like he's not present. You're just looking around, you're like, oh, Harden played. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of them things where you can't have a player like Harden who takes so many shots and then in these big games consistently takes 10 shots.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah, it's not great. And honestly, if you can't maximize Harden's prime, then it's going to be a very tough situation.
and they've had ample opportunity to maximize this. They've been in this scenario every season basically.
And this might be it. This might be it because Mike D'Antoni probably won't survive a five game series loss.
I saw.
Where did they go from there with how they built their system around his style of coach?
They're gonna have to just tear the whole thing down. I think go again, but and it's a shame because they've just brought Russell Westbrook into the door and they gave up some nice pieces for him. So
OKC's future is looking pretty good right now.
we're talking about the playoffs, mate. They're out of the playoffs. But
is this a Bulls fan saying that?
We'll be back, man. We're gonna take your former coach off you. He's
not off you
because he's left, but
please do.
And then he's gonna develop.
He's good with young players.
I know that's why I want him.
Yeah, he's a perfect fit. No jokes aside, he's a perfect fit.
Yeah, for real. That's why I want him. I think we will hire him as well. I've heard rumblings that he's in the first round of interviews, so we'll see about that. But just looking at the Lakers' numbers here in this game 4, the rebounding numbers between the Rockets and Lakers are complete opposites, and it looks like the Lakers have finally found a way to use their size as an advantage on the glass. Which is always a fear with this small ball lineup. I was hearing a lot of quotes like from PJ Tucker and people like that, like when you got the heart, it doesn't matter about your size and da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, if Anthony Davis really wants a rebound over PJ Tucker, he's going to get the rebound over PJ Tucker.
Yeah. But early on, the strength, obviously...
Wait, can I just read out PJ Tucker's stat line from last night?
Oh, yeah, I think
33 minutes, 3 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 points.
He woke up feeling dangerous, huh?
0 for 4 field goals, 0 for 2 3-point.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
literally watching this game. I'm watching the game right now on the side. So it's not looking great, but if Tucker isn't,
there was a lot of people saying when they took that game in the series, there was a lot of people saying, give PJ Tucker his flowers. Like, there was a lot of people clowning Bleacher Report for making that video. But now he's just...
That's the thing, though. They get rebounds over him, yeah. But I'm yet to see a game. I'm yet to see a game where Anthony Davis, consistently backs down, players and scores inside.
But that's not him, though, is it?
Yeah, but that's what they were saying he was going to dominate. I mean, if you've got a near 7-footer, the Rockets, I promise you, the Rockets were never going to be scared about nothing. None of their fears at all were about a player taking mid-range fadeaways. They're more worried about a player like Jokic who's actually going to abuse them in the paint.
Yeah,
they see it as a win if AD shoots outside of 10 feet.
For sure.
Obviously, he's making them, but you can't. I mean, at the end of the day, that's not really a size thing. Obviously, the rebounds, but as we said, the only way when they made this move, they sacrificed rebound battle for the rest of their time constructed like this, and they thought that their threes would directly combat that.
Yeah,
but obviously, it's a lot easier to get rebounds than threes. So, It's a good. It's good in theory, but the execution of it has be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And there was certain times when I was watching the small system, and I was seeing a lot of heart and hunger to get the rebounds, and I was actually thinking, like, is this the way the NBA is going? Is this the way basketball's going? Where this system is going to be adopted by most teams, and this is just going to be the new normal? But I don't know. There's still a lot of things to iron out with that system. I think it's personnel. I mean, what is the real difference? I mean, if you look at the Celtics starting lineup, I mean, what's Daniel Tice like? He's about 6'8", isn't he? I don't think he is 6'10". I think he's like 6'9". 6'8".
Yeah, about 6'9". I mean, Robert Covington's like 6'8", 6'9". Obviously, they go a bit deep from the bench, but I mean, they weren't even playing much of their taller players.
Daniel Tice low-key got hops, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, so does Robert Covington. And then obviously, the Warriors could easily commit to that. So I think it is still going in that direction, but just not as quick as we thought it might.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
it's definitely been a fun experiment, if anything.
I think the big thing is more about versatility than actual height.
Robert
So
Compton is
obviously
6'6", by the way. Just
he's 6'6".
yeah. According
I've
to
seen him as
Google. According to Google.
let me see. Let me go on basketball reference because I've seen him listed as like
But it
six.
also was very unfortunate what happened with Daniel House. He's been a very very good
Yeah,
contributor for them. So that was very
I don't know what to
unfortunate.
think about that because I've seen that it isn't fully confirmed.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's kind of being held hostage right now.
It's like
Uh,
it's kind of a scenario where it's like you should be innocent till you're proven guilty, and he hasn't been proven guilty. So I feel like he should have been able to play. But I don't know
yeah,
how much of a difference that
I
would have
saw a
made.
lot
But
of.
he's been very nice for them.
He's been very good for them. He's been
Yeah.
very good for them. Yeah, that's an unfortunate. Yeah. He's listed at 6'7", so yeah, not much off. But yeah, Daniel House is another energy person, and then yeah, the Rockets, from what I'm watching, they just gave up. Apart from Westbrook, I mean, he's never going to give up, even if he plays bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tucker with his lack of.
No, I don't
Because
think they gave up because there was a
I
point.
saw a stat. It was saying that through three quarters, they had 0 fast break points, 0 second chance points. I mean,
but there was, I think at the half they were down big, and they.
oh yeah, sorry. I mean, yeah. To
So,
start the game, they just came out very flat.
yeah,
But yeah, they did come back. They did come back.
they were down 16 at the half, and they finished with a 10-point deficit. So they did try, but I don't know. I do agree with what you said. Harden, for some
He just
reason,
disengages.
he has times where he doesn't look interested. I don't know why that is. Like when
You
you think
think,
about the best
yeah.
scorers in NBA history, which a lot of people want to put him in that bracket, like they're always at your throat. Kobe was always at your throat. Michael Jordan was always at your throat.
Look, if Harden goes 10 for 30 in a big game, I'm not going to call him choking because he's going down. He's going down doing what he does.
Yeah,
But if you just straight up disengage, because that system, as much as they have a lot of players that contribute, they they are relying on Harden giving you 30 plus points, and they're relying on Westbrook giving you 25 plus. Those two players need to combine for
at least 50, I'd say.
like 50 to 60 points. So when you have Harden he's basically going against the game plan with how he like the lack of aggression, the lack of assertiveness, and it's weird because you think that at this point he'd see his window of opportunity closing like pretty quickly. I mean, he's in his.
He's been in this, as I said earlier, he's been in this scenario time and time again. And if
He
he's
has
not
so many
if he's not going to be
opportunities.
aggressive and he's not going to be 100% interested, who is? Because you're the one
Yeah,
who's been here all this time. You're the one who's felt this disappointment all this time. If you
yeah.
don't want to change it, why is someone that's just joined this year going to want to change it? Like you've got to set the example for these younger players and for these people that are new to your team.
Mm-hmm. There have been valid excuses, but at the end of the day, if he keeps doing the same thing, he's the common denominator. I mean, the Chris
It'll be on
Paul,
him.
going down. Chris Paul going down for that game 7, that's tough, but that doesn't excuse 27 straight missed threes without adapting, and Harden playing like bad in his own right. And obviously, there's always going to be other factors going into it, but in this league to win, you have to have a superstar that's completely dependable so that even if, I mean, you see LeBron, in fact, sometimes he gets unfairly held, criticized for, losing in certain positions where he shouldn't even be in that position because the team around him isn't built for him to be there. I mean, if you look back to 2018 with the Cavaliers, or you look back to 2015 with the Cavs when Kyrie and Kevin Love went down, he's going to be that constant there. You can put LeBron on any team in the league, he's going to do what he has to do. Yeah. And then, okay, if other things around happen, they happen. But Harden hasn't been that.
He doesn't have that mindset.
And it's too far in his career for you to not call it a rhythm and a consistency that you just can't count on him.
Yeah. But quick shout out to the Lakers and their role players have really stepped up in this series.
Yeah, playoff Rondo is a real thing.
Playoff Rondo, he got a damn near triple double yesterday. He's even been hitting a few threes. He's like got
he's coming off a hand injury and like even more time off. He's just dependable. I mean, something about his
I
game,
even remember
his IQ,
when we were lost in the playoffs, we went out to a shock 2-0 lead against the Celtics, and him and Jimmy Butler were just running things. Obviously, we lost that series, but he went down injured, Rondo, in that series, and we needed to capitulate. So
those high IQ players like Rondo and CP3, LeBron, that have control over the game, they just thrive in the playoffs because they know what to do. They know, they know what it's about. So they're just consistent.
And I think Jimmy Butler's got.
Jimmy Butler's of that mold, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
And shout out Caruso as well. He's been amazing.
Yeah,
Caruso. They can really depend on Caruso now, and even Danny Green's been hitting his more shots now. So,
they got. Lakers they get bullied into playing well. They get bullied into playing well.
When Danny Green's on. See, look, this is why low-key, actually, I'm not going to say that, but criticism works in a lot of instances, right?
Yeah.
It's like when Danny Green's probably gone on Twitter, seen Laker Nation berating him and thought, let me get my head to
You've got to embrace it, though.
Yeah.
You can't be like Paul George and get like...
butthurt about it. Because
defensive about it.
Yeah. These criticisms were all warranted. Let's be real. Like
was as long as you're not being, Skip Bayless calling out, a player for being depressed or whatever.
Or
but like,
Kendrick Perkins or whatever.
Yeah. But like, if you're literally...
Analyst.
Bottom of the barrel. But yeah, if you're... We'll never be that. Don't worry, guys.
I mean, I hope we get the same amount of money they do.
Hey, to be honest, bro, if I get that bag,
I'll say whatever the fuck they want me to, bro.
Luka Doncic has succumbed to the pressure. He's never been that guy. But,
we say we won't beat them, but we see that bag in our account. We're like,
until then, you can't afford me.
Yeah.
But yeah. You got to take the criticism on. I mean, Paul George, you're giving every excuse in the book, but like, I'm calling out other players, calling out Damian Lillard, but at the same time, he hasn't taken care of business. We talked about this already. I mean, he had that one comeback game, and since then he's been just as bad.
Yeah.
The only difference between Paul George in previous years and now is that when he
got someone to bail him out.
Yeah, he's got Kawhi Leonard, who, I'm sorry, I think he's the best player in the league. He's got to bail him out. Yeah.
So, yeah, I can agree with that. That leads us swiftly on to the last series in the semi-finals, which is the Clippers Nuggets. Clippers just went up 3-1, and I hate to call it early, but this series looks like it's done. They had that one blip where Kawhi had his off night and was terrible to say the least. But
it's like first off night of like He must have
he's literally just a machine.
He didn't charge his batteries the day before or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then obviously Paul George couldn't come and bail him out, really.
Honestly, I'm yet to watch that game because I need to watch the actual footage because I've never seen Kawhi miss a mid-range shot with my own eyes. So I need to see that.
Yeah. But do you think it's a worry that obviously it doesn't happen often at all, but do you think it's worried that that Kawhi can obviously bail out Paul George, but Paul George hasn't really shown that he can bail out Kawhi in the playoffs? Really?
I don't think he'll need to.
You don't think so?
I think.
Yeah, he's a machine. Kawhi, he's just
Paul George just needs to take care of business. Okay, so at this point, we know that Paul George is not the most dependable player. I don't think Paul George needs to give you 25. Just because of the depth of that team. Obviously, you'd like your second option and, super max player to do that. But he needs to early on recognize, okay, am I in rhythm? Am I not in rhythm? If you're not, even if you are, just be, okay, Kawhi's going to do his thing. All right, let me take on the hardest defensive matchup. And I'm going to own this assignment. And to be fair, I mean, they've made Jamal Murray's, they've made this series a living hell for him.
Yeah.
So they're at least doing that.
They haven't really had an answer for Jokic though, but
but Jokic is just that guy. I mean, at the end of the day, he's just dominant in what he does. But part of the reason why
back you up, flip it up, and go in.
But back to the reason why the Rockets felt confident going small ball is that as dominant as your center is going to be, you're fine with them scoring in the paint. Yeah. You're fine with that. Yeah. So, but yeah, the Nuggets just look outmatched. They look like the moment's a bit big for them.
They look like what they are, an inexperienced team. That's what they look like.
Young inexperienced team that they're just not really too ready for the moment. I mean, but you gotta give them credit. They've done what they've done what they could to this point. All you can do is take care of business. I mean, what a great comeback in the series.
Before that'll be very helpful for their experience and their young players.
And you lost the worst. You lost to a better team who's title. One of the title favorites, so you can't knock them for that. You can't knock them for that.
So it looks like it's going to be all LA conference finals, and obviously the East is still undecided. Who do you tip? Obviously don't go off your bracket. Go off what you've seen in the series.
Oh yeah.
Who do you tip?
We gave our bracket, but we're gonna
in the conference finals. I'm going with Toronto, personally.
Yeah, it's tough for me because we both. I mean, you said it earlier.
Celtics.
No, not that. We both said that eventually the inconsistency in their clutch attack is gonna come back to haunt them, and they're not having a singular go-to. We thought it'd be now, but to be fair, the Celtics are a young team in their own right, so maybe they're not the team to expose it.
Yeah.
But the Raptors just have, I think, their championship experience and just their championship heart is showing, and I feel like I think they'll close it out.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Unless Tatum really comes out and has a superstar performance, that's the one outlier I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think Tatum has to have a superstar performance because they've got so many people that can have that type of night.
Yeah, they do. They do all need to. But the Raptors are just that type of team.
The Raptors want it more.
Yeah.
And they have that experience over the Celtics. The Celtics team has got to a lot of conference finals, but with different groups. The makeup of that team has changed a little bit, like quite a bit in the past few years.
Raptors just give me the impression that
they're going to leave it all out on the court.
And that every single, since the start of the season, they 100% with full conviction believe that they're going to repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, and got to give a shout out to Nick Nurse for that.
Tremendous coach.
A lot of people, he's such a good coach. And you can see the stress is starting to wear on him if you look at the top of his head.
You just look at every time the camera cuts to him, man.
Yeah, he's always
I saw something I saw a meme. It was like every time the camera cuts to Nick Nurse, it looks like his car just got towed.
Yeah, like he's watching it drive off. He's a meme.
He's got hands on his head the whole time. I don't know if you've seen the top of his head.
I don't know if you've seen the top of his head, but he is. That hair is gone, bro.
But he's done his dues. Not just in the NBA. I mean, he's coached just about everywhere. Yeah. He coached in the BBL in England right here. Coached for Team GB. Coached for several teams, G League teams. So he's had a career and a half. He's had a career and a half.
And it's ended with a champion. Well, not ended, but it's resulted in a championship. And who knows? Maybe we'll go back to back
in his rookie season. So what? We're both in agreement that
the Raptors. Which contradicts both our brackets, because
you gotta. You make your brackets with the information you got. And you gotta adjust. We're not gonna be fake.
I said the Celtics in 7, so I could still be right.
Yeah, but we're not gonna be fake. We're not gonna be fake and just give our some engineered stick to we're gonna adjust obviously to new information. Rockets Lakers in 7. Rockets in 7 is still mathematically alive, but
that one was a bit wild. I feel like you just did that for the.
I don't want it to be boring.
Just I did
a bit of a Skip Bayless.
You did it for the clicks, even though that video only has 28 views. But
if they do come back, I never doubted it.
All right, man. You could brag about that. I'll let you brag if they come back, but. Yeah, man. But I would love to see a Heat Toronto finals. That'd be so entertaining. I think that will go 7 as well, because like both teams are just they're so good defensively.
They've got that same type of makeup.
Same ethos. So we alluded to it earlier, but we're gonna talk more in depth about the Bucks. A team that was once on pace to win 70 regular season games crashes out in the second round in 5 games. A gentleman's sweep to the Miami Heat. Josh, what went wrong for the Bucks in this series?
So,
where'd you start?
Yeah, every they drafted Giannis. Honestly, yeah, it's tough. Everything I said that pushed me to predict it. It played out, but it played out even more, aggressively than I thought. I mean, I thought they'd make him struggle to the point where he'd have to force it more, and then he would be able to get other people involved.
Yeah.
But they didn't even let him attack. They just
didn't give him any space.
They just built that wall. They built that Toronto Raptor 2019 wall, and his game's quite limited. It was weird because at the start of the season, he was starting to shoot a lot more mid-range shots because obviously everyone says he needs a 3-point, but if he's just got 3-pointers and dunks, then it's still going to be the same issue.
Yeah.
But he needs that type of playmaking game. Pull up
mid-range.
But he was doing that more. Then he kind of went away from it, and it's just something that obviously they've got the matchup in Bam. Jay Crowder's got a big body.
Yeah.
And they just frustrated him. He just looked like lost. Like what can I do?
What can I do? Yeah.
No one else was really stepping up. Chris Middleton waited until he lived off the court to actually start. Until he decided to enter the series. When they were down.
Yeah, but even then, he was very inefficient.
He just had that one game, and then
he reminded me a bit of Kobe, but in the worst sense. Like you just all out of options, so just chucking shots.
Oh, this was I won last night. Yeah,
yeah. He was just. I watched Game 5 in its entirety, and it was always like, okay, our ball movement's not working. No one can really create anything off the dribble. Give it to Chris Middleton at the end of the shot clock and let him hoist something up. And especially in the clutch, that was their formula. And yeah, it didn't really work. Well, obviously it didn't work. But I think the Heat going into this was probably the worst possible matchup for the Bucks because they beat them every time in the regular season. I think was it every time?
I think
they beat them a lot in the regular season. Anyway,
they had that glaring one like that I mentioned right towards the end of the before the hiatus.
Yeah.
Where Giannis was held to like 13 points, horrible efficiency, and Bam was just locking him up. And Bam has become Giannis's. Bam is Giannis's Lou Dort.
Bro, it's not every day.
I don't
man.
care. Lou Dort is going to be said on this
podcast
he's nice. Every time. I said his name before we even. I said his name before.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned him to me before. I was like, who? Dort. Like I took no notice, and then in that game 7, he puts up 25, locks up.
You say the start.
All series he locked up Harden.
It sounds like some 2K rookie that
that got drafted 56th and is 59 rated. But nah, he's nice. He's nice, man. You got a nice little squad over there, but.
The problem with this though, obviously, this series is the implications that it has on the future.
Oh, big, massive implications. I saw a report today. I think the front office said they're sticking with Budenholzer.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Personally, I think is a mistake.
Yeah, I was saying this, something I picked up on a little I mean, I saw other people saying it as well. Was after certain games, Giannis there'd be questionable things where they ask him about guarding Jimmy Butler, which I thought was a bit unfair because Giannis he's more of a interior defender, but still, I mean, he can
He can
still
do both, though.
guard him in important situations. But yeah, whether it was that or whether they would ask him about different strategies and things like that, and then Giannis's response would always be, I'll do whatever my coach tells me to.
Yeah.
Which in theory, that sounds like that sounds great. Like, oh yeah, he's a good player, But it also sounds like he's kind of putting the blame and saying
Yeah.
We're doing what he says. We'll die on what he says. And
And it's like
he's just shown me too many times.
When your star player says that, and then you end up getting a gentleman's sweep, it's like it puts even more pressure. It's going to put even more pressure on.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, there were going to be these questions about Giannis' future if they lost in the finals.
Yeah.
So to be gentlemen swept in the second round in a series, I mean, they had a historical regular season.
Yeah.
They could have
best defense in the league.
70 win. Best. I think they were best like efficiency.
Yeah. It's because all their blocks came inside. Really.
Yeah, and he's just built. He is. It's the same thing that we'll say about Harden or Paul George. If you keep showing us this pattern, a consistent pattern of not being able to translate to playoffs, he just keeps getting outcoached. Got outcoached by Nick Nurse, got outcoached by Eric Spoelstra.
Mm-hmm. He's very slow to adapt, isn't he? He's very slow to adapt his
doesn't
schemes.
Adapt. I mean, I was telling you this, wasn't I? I said this pretty early. The whole thing about Giannis not playing enough minutes, and you said, if they're winning, they're winning. But I mean, I said this
those scenarios like the Bucks are down like 10 going into the fourth, and Giannis is sitting on the bench.
Yeah,
what are you doing, bro?
You said, you said the foul trouble thing, but nah, it's just a consistent thing where, and then he had this quote. A quote that I think can get him fired. I think a fireable quote right there.
Stinks.
You said, if Giannis has to play more than 35 minutes, or maybe, I don't want to miss, but anyway, it was around that, the Heat deserve to win.
What? This is the guy you are about to offer a super max to, the biggest contract in NBA history, and you're saying if you have to play him over 35 minutes, bro.
Look at LeBron, yeah. Let's talk about LeBron real quick. Because they're basically of the same responsibility to their franchises.
Yeah.
If you look at these historic games LeBron has, these closeout games, these game sevens, these important playoff games, LeBron is playing sometimes 48, sometimes 45 minutes.
I remember very vividly in the 2018 playoffs, he was doing a lot of 48-minute games.
You can't play your players every game like it's a blowout. That's the problem.
Yeah. I
try to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, yeah, they were dominant in the regular season, so obviously Giannis isn't going to play that many minutes. And, it's impressive. In fact, that part of went into the impressiveness of his season is that his points went up and his minutes went down. Yeah. But, you can't. I think he just kept thinking that he was just like, well, we did this rotation to get this, on pace for 70 wins, so we'll just carry it on. But no, the difference between the regular season and the playoffs is that, you have to adapt. You see the same team for 2 weeks.
For me, more than anything, I'm disappointed in this result because not for the Bucks organization or for Budenholzer, it's for Giannis, because Giannis has come off a historical season where he's going to become one of the only players in NBA history to win a Defensive Player of the Year and an MVP. But he's going to have to pick it up from. He's going to have to pick it up from his sofa, back home.
That is going to be
in a real awkward environment.
Up there. That is up there with Dirk winning his MVP after in a press conference after being upset by the 8th seed.
Yeah, it's like the same scenario almost. And Budenholzer has to realize, and the sooner he does, the better coach he'll be, that when it comes to the playoffs, you do whatever it takes to win. You have to adapt to scenarios. Okay, it's all good and well playing Giannis 30 minutes a game, and you know he's gonna have high efficiency. You know he's gonna come up against people that like don't have the same determination as the team would have in the playoffs. But when
the further you get through the playoffs, the closer teams will be to your level or above your level. So
and the more they would have studied you in how to stop you as well, the more they would have looked into you.
Blowouts are rare. Blowouts are rare in the playoffs.
Look, if you think about it, you're playing the same team every 1 or 2 days, for a week straight, okay?
Yeah.
They're gonna suss out your rotations. They're gonna suss out your offensive schemes, and the Miami Heat, having said that, had already sussed that out way early into the season. So if you're gonna go at them with the same formula that you had been going at them in the regular season and it wasn't working, and you're not going to increase the minutes of your superstar.
They'd added 2 people. They'd added Crowder and Iguodala just to bolster that strategy and make it work even better. Like,
I don't know what you.
And they're just running. They're running some 2K offense of just driving, pick and roll, driving, kick. Like
for real, man. No perimeter like isolation at all. You got wings that can't create their own offense. You got point guards that can't create their own offense. Obviously, George Hill can hit an open 3 once in a while. They got Kyle Korver on the bench, but if they're not open, then
it's the same thing that LeBron kept struggling with. Is that when you build LeBron or Giannis, more so with Giannis, because obviously LeBron can shoot a bit and he can create a shot more, but you got to find that balance, which is hard between, okay, you want to build players around him that can shoot, that can stand there and shoot when he drives and bail him out. But if all they can do is shoot, they better be Klay Thompson, because if they're not Klay and they're having an off night and they can't contribute anything else to it, then
screwed.
You're absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
You're completely screwed. And the problem is now that I don't think Giannis is not going to, demand a trade this offseason or anything like that. I think he'll play out his contract. But the problem, what can they do? So now they're going to have to go into scramble mode, which is where all these, Chris Paul rumors are coming from and all of that. Because what can they actually do to change this outcome other than, getting rid of the coach? I mean, because his strategy just proved like redundant once it comes to the playoffs. He's getting outcoached consistently. If you lose due to a strategic issue, whether the strategic issue is based on, limitations of your star player, it's still a strategic issue. Then you have to take that blame.
I think this is it's come at the worst time for the Bucks, because they've got their star who's threatening to run down his contract. They've got a free agent. They obviously are going to want to add another piece to go that extra step, but they're entering a free agent class which isn't deep at all. And you don't really have the pieces to make a trade for an extra piece.
Hey, we take Chris Paul for Dante DiVincenzo and a couple of your picks.
But I saw the pick.
That's the thing. They're going to be desperate now. They're going to be desperate because because look, this is similar to when LeBron was nearing the end of his contract in Cleveland. They need to find a player that can. If I was them, I'd be looking more at a player like Fred VanVleet, but they don't really have the money.
Yeah.
But you just need a player that can create. Chris Paul would be a perfect fit for them.
Yeah,
apart from the fact that he's quite old now.
Yeah.
Because obviously it addresses.
But if they're in win now mode, that's not really.
Yeah, they're in win now mode, but how much does it really convince Giannis to see it as a to see the Bucks as a long-term option?
Well,
just because if I mean, as much as I'm an OKC fan, as much as I love what Chris Paul did for us this year, I don't know how many seasons like this he has left.
To be fair, he's shown no signs of slowing down. So I think it's a risk worth taking for at least one season.
Yeah, at least one season.
Yeah.
But the thing
how would they
have to do through trade.
But like,
yeah,
what would you want from the Bucks?
As I said, DiVincenzo.
Yeah, but
you need some players to make it up. I would take him in a few picks. Honestly, I feel like he's a tremendous player, and they obviously draft picks would have to be attached to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how
taking the whole league's first round picks. Got so many first round picks.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in scramble mode because they're at a risk. Because the Cavs, when they thought they were going to lose LeBron, well, they did. They acquired Shaquille O'Neal, who he was old. Because either you go for those big names to like make your player happy and make it look like you're doing something. It's a difficult one. Because then you either do that or you risk, halfway going for it. Was what they did with LeBron in his second time there, where you just assume that player isn't gonna stay, but you don't want to play. You don't want to trade him.
Yeah.
So you kind of half go for it, which is what they did with that trade mid-season to acquire, Jordan Clarkson and all of them, where you could have acquired a player like, Paul George, but you didn't have that commitment. So it's a difficult one. You kind of have to go all the way in if you're going to go in, but then also that kind of leaves you in a tough spot after if they do leave, like us with when KD left.
Yeah. So, do you think with it looking kind of unlikely that there will be any suitable free agents or any suitable trade targets? What do you think they do for this coming off season? Do you think they blow it up? Well, not blow it up, but do you think they try and move maybe Middleton on, or do you think they just run it back how it was?
Nah, they are not.
They can't lose Middleton, I don't think, but because I feel like Middleton will be the ideal third option. They just need that second option.
Honestly, I think either way, big trades are coming because they're either going to have to make a big trade around Giannis or with Giannis. Because
do you think they'll throw Middleton's name into that hat?
I don't think anyone not named Giannis Antetokounmpo is safe.
Oh, man.
No player whatsoever.
I hear that.
Zero. Okay, maybe DiVincenzo just because if he was to leave. But honestly, I don't think any player is safe, and nor should they be, because they didn't show. I mean, I guess they tried to show in that game after he got hurt that they're useful outside of him. But I mean, you're trying to keep this player. This is a player you want to give, $260 million to. This is a player that you need. I mean, the Bucks are going to be nothing for years if Giannis leaves. This is what you prepare for. This is what you.
This is their moment. For. I think everyone at that organization realizes this is their moment.
Yeah. This is what a small market does not get the chance. I mean, he wasn't even a lottery pick. So a pick outside of the lottery that blossomed into this, a project, blossoming into this. You need to make something of it because they're not getting any free agents without a player like that, and maybe not even with a player like that. So they have to throw everything into either getting as much as they can for him or getting as much as they can beside him.
Yeah, I think the Bucks organization currently and has to revolve around Giannis as much as they can. But again, it's just what pieces do they have to? I don't. Sorry, I dropped my mic. I don't see like what the strategy is. Like they're not going to have much cap if they offer Giannis this mega deal, unless they freeze him up with trades. But I don't see any of their pieces as too valuable. It's going to be a tough rebuild for this team for sure. Well, not a rebuild, but a tough reconstruction, I'll say. Yeah, man, it would be a shame to waste like one of the most dominant players we've seen in the past 15 years. It really would be. But Let's speak about some players they could possibly target to fill their need for perimeter offense and isolation play, and even I think they need a playmaker as well. Obviously, the name that springs to mind and the name that has been coming up in rumors is Chris Paul. Do you have any other alternatives? Dennis Schroeder, maybe?
Yeah, Schroeder's good as well. I feel like Chris Paul just fits so many of their apart from his age and whether Giannis feels like that will be enough for for him to contend in the future, like past the next couple seasons. But Chris Paul, if they had acquired Chris Paul like last year, that would have been insane for them because he just fits so much. He fits the whole for he'd be able to get Giannis easier shots. He'd be able to provide more perimeter shooting. He'd be able to provide more consistent. I mean, he was statistically, even going into the playoffs, and proved it in the last game. He was the clutchest player the whole season. Statistically, and he's a playoff player as well. So
I think he's perfect.
He'd be a perfect fit. And the thing is, there are a lot of other players that fit that mold that may be younger. That fits some of those qualities, but the thing is, with their cap space, it is going to kind of need to be through trade because even though Chris Paul does eat up a lot of the cap space, it would be through a trade. So,
how many years does he have in his OKC deal?
I think he has either next season. Yeah, next season might be the last season on it, or the season after.
Okay, because he put out that video on social media.
Yeah,
after he lost, and it seemed like a good buy. So,
to be fair, now I'm kind of talking myself into it because I was saying about his age and the price of his deal. But if you think about it, if he was to leave after his deal, or even if there was a trade him after his deal for an expiring contract, because firstly, an expiring contract in itself is very valuable, and they could get into another contender even if Giannis was to leave. In fact, Chris Paul is probably the perfect candidate because your worst case scenario is that Giannis leaves and then Chris Paul can kind of just do what he did this year. Help a young team, and then you can trade him to a contender on an expiring deal and get more assets. Every year that Chris Paul plays like he does this year. And every year that he plays like he does this year and doesn't get hurt, his value goes up because there's less time left in my contract.
Yeah.
So, And to be fair, and if Giannis was to stay and the contract ran out, you could just let him go and then they have all that cap space.
Yeah.
So, it
looks like a match made in heaven, and even from Chris Paul's perspective, it could be his last chance to finally get that ring. So I feel like that is definitely a match made in heaven. But it's just what are they gonna have to sacrifice for that deal? Could be a bigger question as well.
I don't think there's much of outside of Giannis that would hurt them that much. It'd be definitely worth the risk.
I don't care. I feel like he could be. I think he can be that Klay Thompson type guy.
But listen. Do you think you're gonna be able to find another Middleton though? There's a lot of Middletons, man.
Okay, name me another Middleton.
There's gonna be another third option that you can pair with Giannis and player X.
Like who though?
Huh?
Like who? There's
several players of that mold.
Yeah, but
put it this way. Giannis, of the other options, of the other teams, you got to look at it like you're proposing to Giannis, these are your two people, and you're going up against, Pat Riley offering Giannis, Jimmy Butler and Bam.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going against
around him as well.
Yeah, you're going up against, Mark Cuban offering you Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
And dare I say, the Warriors
Jesus Christ.
You're saying
Imagine.
Chris Middleton can be that Clay. I mean, how about Clay? I mean,
wait, bro, imagine, man. Imagine.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
I have to go over to Dub Nation again.
I think just enjoy this year and next season, because I think there's just too many moving parts in 2021 for me to think that there's not going to be another super team.
Yeah, for sure. There will be.
There's just too...
Because the 2021
it seems like
class
every
is
super...
stacked.
Yeah, it's just looking like every superstar is a free agent in 2021.
I'm just hoping the Chicago Bulls is on their destination list.
Or could
let's get a big free to Chicago, man.
Could AD sign a 1 year deal?
What with the Lakers and then hopefully.
I think AD will definitely restructure his deal so that he's a free agent next year.
Yeah.
I don't see the point unless.
What if they win this season?
Fair, I would still want to be one next year, because next year's LeBron's last year as well, and you don't know what LeBron's going to do.
Yeah, true.
But then also at the same time, committing long term to the Lakers wouldn't even be that deep, because even if LeBron was to retire or leave, they still have. It's still Los Angeles, and they've got a max spot. So
Lakers it will never be a bad spot to be in. No matter what players you got around you, but I don't know. I just want him to come home, man. That three in the red and white would look so good on him, man.
I mean, letting go of Boylan was a good step.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he was waiting for that.
You might mess around and get Bradley Beal as well. I mean, he's lobbying for the Bulls to
can Zach LaVine
to get Billy Donovan.
Yeah, I saw that tweet actually. But can Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal coexist?
I know you're a Bulls fan and you love Zach LaVine and all that, but like, I'm be real with you. I don't think any player on your team has superstar potential. So if you if you had to give up Zach LaVine, would you really be that? Like, if you can have AD and Bradley Beal, like, are you that worried?
Wait, it's funny you say that, because just today on JJ Reddit's new podcast, Kevin Durant said that Zach LaVine has superstar potential. So I'm going to trust him over you with that. But nah, I love Zach LaVine. He's such an exciting player to watch, and when you're not competing for anything, having exciting players is the bare minimum.
Sometimes players are a bit off on their analysis as well. Kobe, the late great Kobe Bryant said that Andrew Wiggins was like looking in the mirror. So,
but Zach LaVine has the performances to back that up, though.
He is tremendous. I'm just saying, like, sorry. I don't know why I said superstar. I mean,
I would low key
number one, like,
option.
Number one. He can be a number one scoring option.
Yeah,
he can be a number one scoring. But I just think he's kind of like Jason Tatum without the defense, I guess.
For me, you might call me crazy for this, but I would rather have AD and LaVine than AD and Bill. And this is purely based on sentimental value. This is not me trying to say
okay, fair enough.
LaVine is better played than Bill. I just like LaVine a lot. Even from like 2K16 days when, like, I remember my team card was hella OP. It was like a silver, and it was like it was just a 3-point dunking machine. Even from them days, like, even before he was a Bull, I liked him, and now that he's a Bull, it's just cemented my liking for him.
I see it. I mean, he's younger as well, so it's less.
We deserve a big three, man. Bosh and LeBron and Wade, they played us.
I just saw the Bosh.
Yeah, I saw that as well. He said that.
So that's all three players. That's all three players saying that they originally wanted to join the Bulls.
D Rose.
That must be tough.
Imagine
D Rose said that it's not his job to recruit.
Oh man, and Joakim Noah was apparently talking to them instead. Get this hobo off my phone. That's what they probably are saying. But
that's tough.
Yeah, man, we deserve a big three. Hopefully, we can make a splash in free agency, but more in 2021. But yeah, that's our take on the Bucks.
Time is tick. The clock is ticking.
Clock
is ticking.
Can they make a push for the title next year and in the years to come? Only time will tell.
All right, so we're at the trivia section of our podcast. Earlier this week, LeBron became first all-time in playoff wins. So, according to that, we're gonna have you name 18 of the 25 top players in playoff wins. I've taken out a couple of the obscure names from the 70s or whatever. So
so this is all time, yeah.
Yeah, this is all time, but it's mainly 90s onwards.
Okay.
All right,
cool.
Ready when you are.
All right. So first name, I'm gonna go Michael Jordan.
Go ahead.
Alongside him, I'm gonna go with Scottie Pippen.
Wait.
What?
So all right. So MJ.
Scottie.
Yeah. Pippen. Yeah.
Kobe. I'm gonna go with Larry Bird. I want to put Dennis Rodman in there because he was part of the Pistons. I'm gonna go with Dennis Rodman. So that's 5. Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Tim Duncan. Tony Parker. Manu Ginobili. That's 8.
By the way, if you end up naming any that were outside of this 18, I'll give you that, of course. So you do have a maximum of 25.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I'm not. If you don't, then I'll just do it out of 18.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now it gets a bit tricky. I want to say Shaq. I'm going to say Shaq.
Okay.
Who else is on those Celtics teams? Kevin McHale.
Ooh, 1 second.
Wait, that's not a good sign. He was injured a lot, though, I think. Oh
no, wait.
Okay, Kevin McHale. Robert Parrish was on those teams as well. I don't know if I want to say him, though. Okay, so what? I think I'm on 10 so far.
Wait, let me count. 1, 2, 3. You said 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Who else was a fixture of those Spurs teams? Oh, man, this is harder than I thought it'd be. I don't really want to say, current, because I was going to say Durant, but I'm not sure if they've been around long enough. Most playoff wins of all time. Ooh. Do I say Steve Kerr?
By the way, remember, this isn't series wins, this isn't championship, this is just individual games. Wins.
Okay.
Just playoff wins, individual games, first round, second round, third round, fourth, whatever.
Okay, I'm going to say Robert Parrish, Dwayne Wade. Actually, Dwayne Wade wasn't really in the playoffs later stage of his career, was he?
Going with Wade or not?
What? No, I'm not going to put Wade. I'm not going to put Wade just yet. There's got to be some more Spurs in there, man. Oh, Isaiah Thomas, the OG Isaiah Thomas. So how many is that? 12, 11?
Count. How many you said? 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, because I didn't say... No, but I said Robert Parrish and... thing.
It was 11, but you said you're not going with Wade, right?
Yeah, but then I said... Who did I just say?
So you said...
I just said Isaiah Thomas, so surely that should be 11.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So 11. Okay. Who else was on those bad boy Pistons? Bill Laimbeer was there. I feel like I'm missing so many obvious ones, man. I'm just trying to think of people that were in the playoffs all their career. I know there's more, but Robert Horry. So that's 12. Robert Horry. Did I say Shaq? I've said Shaq, right?
Yeah, you said Shaq.
I've said Shaq. Kawhi Leonard? No, I don't know. Kawhi. I don't think his career's definitely not been long enough. Nah, his career's definitely not been long enough. Career's definitely not been long enough for Kawhi. Let's say... I'm going to say Dwayne Wade. 13.
Okay. All right.
Wade. I'm trying to think who else was on that bad boy Pistons. And who else was on those Bulls teams as well. So there was a lot of roster movement around the big three.
But also with that, you got to think that to be on this list, you kind of have to be. If you're a role player, you kind of have to have consistently been on good teams. So just because you were on the Bulls for 3 years doesn't mean like you're going to be on this list.
I know. It's tough, man. I feel like I'm doing really bad.
Oh, you're doing all right.
Okay.
Fuck. Because you got some of the players that I left out.
Really?
That's why I was going over to check. I really didn't want to put any like old players.
Yeah.
But then obviously,
I got some.
Yeah, so it's fine.
I'm thinking Dirk. I want to say Steph and KD so bad, but I don't think their careers have been long enough. Bro, I'm forgetting so many bait ones. Bill Russell. Bill Russell has
By the way, you can go like, you don't have to only go in the 70s. Like, there are players that have had long careers since then.
I know, but like 2009 to now is not a really long career.
But I mean in between that.
So Bill Russell, that has to be one. So that's 14, right?
Yeah, and you're going for a top 25.
But I need to name 18. You said I need to name 18, right? I'll go with KD. Right. KD. I've said the Spurs big three. I want to stay.
Nah, because you've got like because there were a few that we added on. We'll just do it out of the 20. Cause you've got enough that it'll be all right. You'll be calm. So you can go for closer names. So it's gonna be out of 25.
Okay, cool.
Because there weren't that many players that are like obscure.
So I'll just start naming people then. Steph Curry, Paul Pierce. So that's 17, I think. Oh my days, how did I forget this guy? Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Kareem has to be there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, man.
He said Magic, he said Kareem. Yeah.
Kareem. So that's 18. Got 7 more to name. I feel like I missed a lot of the greats. So let me go through like the scoring table. My brain has gone blank, you know.
Just think of teams.
Yeah.
That were great in those eras. In different, like, 90s onwards.
Hakeem? But I don't know if his career was that long. I'll
give you this hint. That every player left is like 90s onwards now.
90s onwards. Okay, so I'll say Hakeem. 90s onwards. Okay.
And you know what? You've got 5 players left as well.
5 players. So I've named 20, right?
You've already named 25, but
what? I've said 25 names.
Oh no! Wait.
No way! I've said 25 names.
Let me see. Actually, wait. We're doing this out. Sorry, out 20. So you're gonna make up 20. So you've said
So I've said 19.
No, you said 20. You said 20. Yeah.
So I'm done then.
If you're gonna finish with that 20, then you're done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I can say 5 more.
Do you want me to read you like what you said so far?
Wait, I can say 5 more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'll just say 5 more. I'm gonna say Kawhi.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Allen Iverson, but you only got 12 finals. I thought this would be easier than it is. I'm gonna say Allen Iverson. You said 90s onwards, right?
Yeah.
Did I say David Robinson?
No, you haven't yet.
David Robinson. I'll say David Robinson.
All right. Do you want to hint?
Nah, not yet. I was gonna say Kevin Garnett, but he was on them dead Minnesota teams. Oh, do you know who might be there? No, Ray Allen.
Okay.
That's 4. One more. Klay Thompson.
All right. Summer's just funny to me, but don't worry.
What's funny to you? Does that mean I've done bad?
No. Not even. All right,
cool.
Do you want me to name you? Do you want me to name them now?
Yeah.
Like what you said so far, and you can confirm.
Yeah.
All right. Tim Duncan.
Yep.
Robert Horry.
Yep.
Kareem.
Yep.
Tony Parker,
Yep.
Kobe, Ginobili, Shaq, Pippen, Magic, MJ, D Wade, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin McHale, Rodman, Parrish, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Russell, KD, Steph Curry, Hakeem, Kawhi, AI, David Robinson, Clay.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
I'm kind of iffy on Bill Russell, because I don't know what their format was like back then, like how many games they played in that. But I'll just go with it because he won bare championships.
Yeah. Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got some very bad news for you.
What?
So, as I said in the intro,
yeah,
the whole inspiration for this is LeBron
I didn't say LeBron, did
becoming the first in playoff.
I didn't say LeBron,
and you didn't mention it.
No, but I thought that was I actually thought LeBron, but I thought that was just a given. I swear to you, I thought that was just a given.
I said name the top 25, but okay, fine, I'll give you that.
No, you don't have to give it to me, bro. I didn't say it, so you don't have to give me that.
So
I just thought it was a given. That was so dumb. I should have just said it.
Oh man, yeah. So
do you have any good news?
You did decently though. So Isaiah Thomas, Bill Russell, KD, Steph Curry, Hakeem, Kawhi, AI, David Robinson, and Clay are not.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, Bill Russell isn't, but quite a few of the players from a long time ago aren't, because I'm assuming because there was such a few amount of teams. Yeah, there was less teams and less games, so that probably went into it. I think at some point during Bill Russell's era, I think there was like 8 teams in the league.
Yeah,
and they had a lot of first of 5 series before.
I just assumed that because he has like 11 championships.
Yeah. To be fair, I would have said that. So the players that you missed out.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick myself.
LeBron, Ramon James, of course.
Raymond, I swear. Anyway, smile.
Derek Fisher.
Wouldn't have got that.
Who was originally first.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got
that. And then I was trying to say, think of the better teams. In those eras, because Utah Jazz had 2 representatives.
Oh my days! I thought of both of them. I thought of both of them.
Yeah, and John Stockton. So those are the only 4
I missed.
4. Out of
the 25.
Actually, no. Wait, let me see. What that I put actually. Wait, let me see. There were others. Sorry. So Horace Grant.
Wouldn't have got that
from those Bulls. John Havlicek.
Should have got that.
Rasheed Wallace.
Wouldn't have got that.
Like Dennis Johnson.
I was gonna say Dennis Johnson because I remember them talking about him in the documentary. I should have said more of those Celtics team players.
Byron Scott.
Wouldn't have got that.
And Danny Ainge.
Yeah, I should have got that as well.
Okay, so you got.
So bad.
Let me see this. No, you didn't do too bad. Wait, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 16.
Out of 20.
Well, out of 25. We'll say out of 20.
You were saying 20, bro. Come on.
Nah, I said 25. I said 25, but I left out some of those. No, I'll say 20 because I tried to leave out some of those names, but then obviously you said some of them, so it was a bit.
Like who? Who did I say that you left out?
So there were names that I thought you'd get, but I just wanted to be consistent and leave out all players before the 90s. So I left out McHale.
Bird.
Left out. Oh, Bird isn't even on this list, by the way.
Is he not?
Top 25. He probably Remember, I said top 20. This is just top 25, so he could be he could be around that. But he's not on it. I think his career was shortened because of an injury. So
yeah.
Who else did I? I didn't have Parrish there either.
No way Bird is not on that list. That's crazy.
Top 25.
All right, well, 16. I'm personally disappointed, but
I'll say out of 20.
It is what it is.
There were around about 25 names.
Yeah. Okay, so
5. No, there were around about 5 names that I didn't include. So yeah.
So we'll say 16 out of 20.
Yeah, we'll say 16 out of 20.
Not too happy with that, but
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite 100% like me last week, but
last week, bro, we were not here last week.
last pod, last episode.
All right, well, 16 out of 20 means Josh is in the lead, but I'll come back stronger. Anyway, that's been all for today. The 4 Quarter Talk podcast is back.
Great to get back to it. We'll
see what happens with next week because I'm moving out next week back to uni. So we'll see what we can do next week. But we should have an episode. I say I should be available. So thank you everyone for listening. If you did get this far, thank you very much. I looked at the YouTube analytics and no one gets this far, but
everyone averages like
11 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back.